I now reopen this public urgent meeting. I give the floor now to the Honorable Minister of Justice, Minister Lewis. You have the floor. You can indicate where and how much time you would need to come back to answer the questions that was posed from the honorable members of Parliament. Honorable Minister, now you have the floor.
Through you, Chair, honorable members, seeing the significant amount of questions, I would like to request that we have a week to answer the questions. Also, before concluding, I would also like to explain the part with regards to public meetings and the decision that was made by the Council of Ministers. For clarity's sake and for no misunderstanding, I will say today, the Minister of Justice is responsible for the guidelines. There is no official guidelines that was signed by my person with respect to all the questions given. Everything has to be done properly in consultation with my stakeholders, and then a decision will be taken. So at this moment, there is no guidelines taken as yet because we are busy combing through everything. So those who have public meetings at this moment, we cannot stop you from having those public meetings until everything is gone through.
I see the honorable members coming up to the lectern, but at this time, we don't have the provisions for that because he's not answering. He gave a statement based on the guidelines and taken into account. And taken into account, I would like to move on. However, I see that we have members of Parliament that would like to have the floor. I now give the floor to MP Jacobs. You have the floor. Is it a proposal?
Thank you. I have a point of
a proposal of order?
A proposal of order, yes. Mr. Chairman, good afternoon again. Listened to the statements uttered shortly, a few seconds ago by the Honorable Minister of Justice. It has created even more confusion, in my opinion, and from the responses that are the reaction of the others, I also had that. I also heard a call for the reaction to the motion put forward. The minister did not mention anything about that either. There were several questions. I can understand that some of the questions would require time to answer, but with the activities happening this evening, with our public meeting having been planned for this evening and not having received a response from the authorities. They said no. They said no? They said no. I mean, so I think that saying that you're going to come back in a week leaves a whole lot in limbo, Mr. Chairman. So I would, through you, request that pertinent answers to the situation at hand be given today, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Jacobs. I now give the floor to MP Arian. You have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, again, as was stated before by myself and MP Marlin, this is the definition of the government of contradiction. The definition of the government of contradiction. In press briefing, the Prime Minister indicates one thing. He says, in anticipation of the Minister of Justice, in a few hours, I'm going to say now all public meetings are cancelled. And when we say here, it's voter suppression, an MP says no, it's not voter suppression. When we say it's intentional that they cancel a public meeting, they're doing this to hurt the parties that have already announced, they say no. But the Minister of Justice just said what? I cannot stop you. So what you do, you make us cancel all our events, persons that already started to prepare, we told them, no, we can't continue. I even asked about the family fund day. So you made us cancel everything in your benefit, according to the Minister of Justice. And the benefit of one party, the URSM, and the Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, MP Arian. I now give the floor to MP Marlin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I gotta laugh now. This is becoming a comedy club. Should we, the people of this country, believe or not believe anything coming from the Prime Minister? Because here it is, the Prime Minister of this country goes on a live press briefing, tells the people of St. Martin that it's his decision. When I mentioned on the floor of Parliament, I had a feeling. I had a feeling it was his decision and his decision alone. So now it is, who is responsible for making such a decision to halt again the public meeting, to halt all public events, when we said on the floor of Parliament today, it's erroneous, it's crazy, it's a crazy idea. It came across as if it was a joke. Mr. Chair, now we're hearing from the Honorable Minister that nothing can be stopped. So tomorrow, when we hear another statement from the Honorable Prime Minister, what should we do in this country? Halt, don't make a decision, or do what we want. It is becoming chaos, confusion. I thank you.
I thank you, MP Marlin. I look at the speakers list, and I will ask the honorable members of Parliament please to make their statements short as we move forward. I now give the floor to MP Westcott. Westcott, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the only opportunity to speak